Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Just to start, I want you to know that this was originally supposed to be a coding video showing you how to increase the volume of your siren, your alarm siren, and I tried that and was unsuccessful. So I got into repairing the actual siren, which you'll see near the end of this video. So I'm going to tell you where to jump ahead to if you want to just jump to the repair, or if you're interested in watching the video of me trying to actually code the car to be a little bit louder, then continue watching. Thanks. Hey guys, this is my E70 X5. It's an E70. I've had it for over 5 years, and one thing that's always bothered me is how quiet the chirp is when you lock and unlock the car. Let's say you're walking in a parking lot and you want to just press the remote to help find your car. There's no way you'll hear the chirp. I always thought there was something wrong with the actual siren itself, but I found out that there's coding options to change the volume. I'm not sure why it's set so quiet, but it's basically nearly inaudible. If the alarm was ever sounded, you wouldn't even hear it. It's so quiet. So here's an example of how quiet it is. This is a really quiet garage right now, no background noise. It's literally like a little tiny muffle. Super quiet. So that's kind of useless if you're trying to find your car, and especially useless if your alarm goes off and you need to hear it if it's parked on the street and someone's trying to break in. So we're going to try to load up INPA and NCS Expert and figure out a way to increase the volume via coding. If you're new to my channel, then I talk about this in all my coding videos. I use INPA and NCS Expert for my coding. I have this cable, cableless DK and USB interface cable, which you can get on Amazon and eBay. Shouldn't pay more than $20 for it. So we're going to connect this to the car and launch the software and take a look at the file to see if we can adjust that volume. So put the key in the run position. Turn off your interior fan so you don't drain your battery. And we'll plug in our OBD2 cable here. Look for a light on the cable. Pass the cable through the window. If you have a weak battery, then consider putting the car in a battery charger. Now, we're going to want to load up INPA and verify that we have a good connection to the car. Okay, so we got the cable connected to the car. We're going to verify our connection by loading up INPA. I'm going to be linking to a thread in the description showing you how to set up the software if you don't already have it set up. You're going to look for 2 black dots. This black dot on the right indicates that we have a good successful connection to the car. We're going to quit. We're going to load up NCS Expert. We're going to click File, Load Profile. You'll have similar options. You can choose Expert Man or RevTor's NCS Expert Profile. Click F1, F3. Choose your chassis. This is an E70. It doesn't matter what module you pull the vehicle information from, but we're going to grab it from the car access system here. It'll populate your VIN and your vehicle order code. We're going to click back. So I'm getting an error. First time I've seen it, but it's to be expected, I guess. So I have a good connection to the car. I'm going into NCS Expert as I do on my E90 and whatnot. And I'm loading a profile, choosing RevTors, choosing F1, F3, going to my E70 chassis here. Doesn't matter which module I download the vehicle order off of, it does it. But when I click back, I get this error. You may get that if you have in your work directory, NCS Expert, work, your fsw_psw.man file. This is for an E90 and it was referencing that and it's incompatible with this chassis. So you want to make sure you clear this out. Delete everything out of here. Save it. And we're going to try again. So we'll close the software. Go into NCS Expert. and we're going to do it again. Load profile, revtors, F1, F3, E70, download, hit back. Now we don't have those errors. We're going to choose an ECU, process a particular ECU, F4, and we want to go into the DWAS module, and we want to read the ECU. It's going to pull our trace file up, and it's going to dump a file in our work directory. So let's put the ignition off on the car now so we can take a look at this file. That way we don't kill the battery. So we got our file that we need to manipulate, potentially. I'm going to load up NCS Dummy to analyze this file. So you want this yellow bar to finish cycling through, otherwise it can crash. Choosing E70. Our module is... See, I didn't see which one it was. I should have done that before I closed NCS Expert. So let's do that. It says DWASINE.CO4. This is the one we want. Now we're going to browse for the trace file that was just made right here. It automatically knows to go into the work directory. Now, there's something to do with alarm level. So we have some settings for buzzer sounds. Alright, I'll figure out which value we need to manipulate. Alright, I did some research, and from what I found, it's kind of like an E60. Or at least we'll give it a shot. There's no harm here. So this FSW_PSW, we're going to type in buzzer level high and buzzer level low. If we change both of these to WRT01, that should be the loudest possible setting, or so I've read. So let's give that a shot. We're going to save this as an FSW_PSW.MAN file, the manipulated file. Now we're ready to load it into the ECU. So I'm going to put the key back on and we'll give it a shot. And just to be sure, I'm going to close out of this and redo everything, just to make sure we have a good connection to the car before we write. So we're already in SG Coderin mode, which is write mode, so we're okay to write to it. It's going to push that manipulated file in for us. Coding active, coding ended. So let's go try it out now. So I'm done coding now. I'm going to try. And let's try unlocking now. So that didn't do it. So that didn't work for me actually, but I want to try something. I'm going to try to reset the module by just loading a blank manipulated file. So FYI, if you want to reset one of your modules, you go to your work directory. In your FSW_PSW.MAN file, delete it, clear it out, and save it. Now we'll verify we have a connection to the car and push that manipulated file blanked out to reset the module, just in case there's any issues with what's on there, and that's why it's quiet. So we're going to go file. I'll get this loaded into the ECU now. So we're gonna write, it's in SG coherent mode with a blank FSW underscore PSW.MAN file. That's gonna force it to just go to default values. Okay, now I'm gonna shut the car off and we'll see if that made any difference. So I didn't really want to film this unless it was gonna make a difference, and it looks like it did. So I just wanted to see what was going on with the Siren. The Siren lives way down in there. If I can completely fix this, then I'm going to show you guys how to do this and put it up as a video. But that's the bracket that holds the Siren. It lives down in there, like I said. And I just took the speaker out, and I heard some stuff inside of it that was kind of muffling it. It was full of all this debris. So I kind of banged it on the floor a few times and got all this stuff to come out of it, all this dust and whatnot. And in doing so, you can kind of hear it's improved. It still has stuff in there. I'm going to keep at this. But if I put my alarm on, you can tell it's kind of distorted because something's clogging it up or something's gone wrong with it. But so I'll see if I can do anything to help this out and improve on it. But for now, I just wanted to film this to show you guys that maybe you can actually fix this by dealing with the actual speaker or the Siren. Check that out. This thing's battery power. That's amazing. Lithium MnO2 disposed separately. That's wild. It's got its own battery. As you can hear, there's some kind of weird ball bearing situation going on. At the right angle. That's just strange. That's so cool. So if you cut the wires, I guess it makes sense. I should just mount this on the side of the car. But if you cut the wires to the Siren, it's designed to have its own battery power so that you don't, so it'll still get people's attention. That's really cool. Hilarious, as you can hear. So we can kind of try to address this problem. So that was quite the surprise. The only way I could shut the thing up was to connect it back to the car and then lock and unlock it so that it has got the signal from the car that everything's okay. Otherwise it'll just keep going and going, which is really wild. But anyway, it makes sense if trying to offer some level of extra security in the event someone cuts the wires to your siren, right? I guess it's not that surprising, but pretty cool. So I'm just trying to pop this cover off. We can actually see the speaker now. So that just clips out. I'm not sure if there's much more we can do here. I see what the issue is. The actual speaker mechanism piece came undone from this diaphragm. That's pretty cool. I wonder if we can get in there and re-glue it. So ultimately, if I can get inside this thing and re-glue that to this with some crazy glue or something, it'll get its sound back. That's pretty cool, but I'm not sure how serviceable this thing is and if I can get inside there, but I'm gonna try. And I'll report back. Okay, so there's no easy way to get in here. I've figured that much out. It's all sealed. What I'm thinking is I want to drill a tiny pinhole in there, drip some crazy glue down that hole, and then just place it like this, upside down. The speaker will glue itself back to the diaphragm. As long as you keep it like this. You want it to fall back in the center. So if you keep it in this position, it should work. I'm going to try that now. And I'll make sure I film it. Getting the smallest drill bit I got. This is like 1/16. Hopefully you guys can see this. That's all it took. Now, if I drip enough in the middle, you can barely see through that, so I want to make that a little bit larger. That way. There. Now I'm going to keep it upside down so that it secures itself to the diaphragm, and then we'll seal that hole from the top by just a little bit more crazy glue. So it bonded, not exactly centered, not perfect, not exactly where I wanted it, but it bonded. So that's all that matters. Just to seal it from the front half. And put some crazy glue right in the middle. Let's see how this does. I'll let that dry. So this thing was as good as garbage anyway. If this helps make it loud for a while or fixes the problem permanently, great. If not, then this was a fun little quick video to kind of show how I tried to do it. But probably put a little bit more crazy glue than I should have, but at the same time, I want to make sure it's a good bond. So I'll let that dry and then I'll try it in a little bit. So it's been a couple minutes. I'm going to try plugging in and seeing if it sounds any different now. Alright, moment of truth. We're plugged in. Lock it and unlock. Awesome. You guys, I don't even want to turn on the alarm now. It's gonna freaking melt my ears in this garage. But here, I don't want to hear that, so I can already tell it's gonna be freaking insanely loud. So I'll do it from in here. Wow. That's pretty cool. There it is, just sitting in there. I'm going to put that cover back on and we'll reassemble. And I'll show you guys how to actually do it all now. Since I was kind of experimenting, I didn't show how to get in there. I'm not exactly sure how much these cost, but I can tell you I've had this car for 5 years. And it's been this way since the day I got it. And at that time it was about 4 years old. So, it, must have happened early on in its life. And I have a feeling it's common because I've literally been in a parking lot walking by and heard people lock and unlock their BMWs, and it sounded the same. So it almost made me feel like maybe it's normal, but how pathetic is that? And then you got people trying to code and whatnot saying it makes no difference. And I'm leaving all that coding stuff in there. I'm sorry it's going to be a long video, but at the end of the day, it shows you that when it's working properly, it's very loud. So let's reattach this protective cover. Alright, we're good there. Here's the bracket that it lives inside normally. This nut goes on the back side. It's a 10 mil. And I'll show you where this lives inside the car. So if you look there, there's one screw there, and then there's one screw over there. It's really awkward to get in there, but basically this, you're gonna finagle this down there, and then line up those two bolts, which I'll do now. Something worth noting, as you're lowering this down into place, you won't be able to plug the harness in when it's in position. So just on its way down, and stick this on before you tuck it down in there. Just plug that into the actual speaker right here. This is where it lives. You kind of stand it up and then put the bolts in. So I need two hands to do this, but I'll show you once I'm done. So as you can see, I got that bolt back in, and I got that bolt back in. So that's all it is. You got to make sure you plug in that harness before you put it back into place, otherwise you won't be able to plug that in. And then that's it. Those two bolts hold that bracket up, hold it to the body. So next step is to put this back into place. Tuck it around the strut tower piece here, and make sure it tucks in underneath the other panel. Like so. And it's just going to be a 13 on each one of these. Just rotate it to lock it into place. That's that. And then weather stripping, clip it back into place. That's it. So that's all that was involved. Pull your weather stripping, 413 lock nuts right here. Take this piece out, look down in there, 210 mils for the bracket for the speaker. Take those out. It's really tricky to get your hands in there. You're gonna have to finagle to get on there, but you know, if you take some time, you'll be able to do it. And get the whole thing up to around here. Disconnect the harness, take it to the bench, take out that one 10 mm locking nut that holds it to the bracket, pull off the front grille, and then drill a hole like I show. But that's all there is to getting it out. That part I didn't show. Alright, so here's how it sounds all buttoned up. And then lock. So if I was walking through a parking lot trying to find my car, I could actually do so now. And the alarm is nice and loud. Alarm. So that's pretty much it. I know it was a longer video, but shows you how to repair your Siren speaker on your E70. And I imagine this applies to other BMWs of this generation. So thanks for watching and good luck.
Wow.